I'm Mektab, and today I'm going to be talking about the anti-Barbie Get Real Girls doll line. By the intro, you can probably guess I'm talking about the doll line Get Real Girls. If you haven't heard of them, that's okay. It was kind of a short-lived doll line, but I'm going to be talking about them, if they're anti-Barbie, if they're not, if they were successful. Like I said, they were short-lived, so that kind of gives you a little bit of information on them. If you're wondering about my qualifications, I have none. I enjoy dolls. That's about it. I like dolls. I'm very fascinated with dolls. You can mainly see my Barbies behind me and the rest of my messy shelves that I'm working on, like fixing up. But for the most part, I really like dolls, all different kinds. And so different doll lines fascinate me, specifically dolls that market themselves as anti-Barbie, or maybe not market themselves, but oftentimes come across as like anti-Barbie. Those dolls fascinate me. And Get Real Girls is a bit more subtle with their Barbie marketing, but I feel like you can definitely still see it. They really marketed their toys, their dolls towards like the kind of parents who are like, I don't want my children playing with Barbies. And I feel like when companies start to market their dolls and their products towards those kind of like parents, being like, Barbie's too sexualized, Barbie's too this, I don't want my dolls being just about fashion. I kind of think that's when doll lines kind of fail. I've seen just a few throughout my doll collecting years. Like I said, I haven't been a collector for crazy long, but I've definitely been like looking at like past issues, and I played with Ever After High and Monster High as a child, and so I saw the shift when Mattel started listening to parents being upset about Monster High or Ever After High, specifically Monster High, being that they felt like they were like not children's toys and they wanted them looking more like children's toys. So Monster High changed the dolls to being like more child-esque. They had like softer looks. Mind you, I don't mind that. I think G2 is great. I think they're fun and exciting. There's some really cute dolls in that line, but I also know that that is when the downfall hit, and Monster High and Ever After High were shortly discontinued after that. We also saw it with Rainbow High, where MJ started listening to parents and they started marketing Rainbow High as being like the cute little Poopsie dolls, which were successful, by the way, the Poopsie dolls. So like I understand and like adding the cute little slime filled creatures that they came with. Mind you, I don't hate those dolls. I think they're fun and interesting. I just understand that that's not what collectors wanted, and so it really irritated them. Anyways, so my little rant, my little tangent. That's all to say that I feel like Get Real Girls kind of had that same like market, except like not in the cutesy kid themed. I just feel like they were listening too much to like parents, and then those parents were not then buying the dolls, if that makes sense. I don't know. When companies listen to parents, I'm curious how well, like if there's ever been a company that did successful, that, you know, listened to parents and made dolls that were, I don't know, not less sexualized, because like I feel like people are always going to sexualize dolls, but like doing what parents say, or like what, you know, anti-Barbie people want, I think just in general is not always successful. Like I said, so I do own some of the dolls. I own one in box and then one not in box, with what looks to be her stuff. And then I have a second one out of box that is like somebody customized, which I think is really cute. And I do plan to keep her in her outfit that she's in, even though it's like not an actual Get Real Girl doll, because like I'm more likely to just find the outfit on the doll versus like finding her random outfit. I could also get the fashion packs because there are fashion packs, but so like I said, I do own one of them. This is Nini's, what is she called? Nini's Backpacking Adventure. So Get Real Girls, the whole concept of them is that they all are sports themed. That was the like basis of them. They all were supposed to be action-esque bodies, so they have a decent amount of articulation. They were just really trying to be like action oriented. They had more realistic body types, which honestly I'll take a look at them in a little bit, kind of look at them compared to Barbie, because I'm kind of curious. I've never like removed their clothing. They just sit still in the process of getting fixed up. But this is my doll that I unboxed. Nope, this is my doll that I still have to unbox. Anyways, I got it for $12. I feel like they go for more than that, but I didn't really look because I wasn't curious. So I tried to look up the company of them, and there's nothing on here. It's like they're their own little company. Like it says go to www.getrealgirls.com. It also says distributed by getrealgirls.com. So online it said that they were something sports. It starts with an A. Avia Sports, I don't remember. I'll kind of like link some stuff, pop some stuff up, maybe come in with some stuff. I do know that they're Mattel. I don't know if this is, I don't think it's related to them because this was before they were released in 2001. But Mattel actually had purchased the company in like 1991, and then they like resold it in 1997 to some other company, or at least later on the creator, one of the creators, there were two like founders of this doll line, was like the CEO of that company. So I'm gonna assume that this was produced by I think it's like Avia Sports. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But I tried to look up like dolls or toys, and they really just make sports gear. So I was kind of questioning if Google was lying to me, if it was the AI trying to fill in information. I don't know too much about this. It literally doesn't say like anything about a possible company on here, but yeah. So like I said, Get Real Girls, the whole purpose of them was to be like sports, athletic, that kind of vibe, which is not a bad vibe. I actually do like when doll lines kind of like branch out of the like typical like fashion. And yes, I do like fashion. Like that is the purpose of like dolls. Like I like how they look. I like how they dress. Do all of them have the most amazing fashions? No, but I like how dolls look. So like I'm not nothing against some of these other dolls, but I do like when doll lines branch out of the typical like what lines considered like girls to like. So fashion, shopping. I like when other lines choose sports that are not like typically seen as like girl sports. So when doll companies choose sports outside of gymnastics or cheer, I'm trying to think of others like maybe ice skating. I'm trying to think of what Barbie typically does, and those are the only ones that I can currently think of. Dance, ballet, that kind of vibe. So I do like these dolls because a lot of them branched out. For example, some of the characters you can see on the back, there was Corey's the surfer, Skylar is a snowboarder, I don't know how to say her name, maybe like Nakia is the basketball player, Who Are You, I Can't Read You, Claire is the scuba diver, and then Gabby is the soccer player, and then Nini is the one that I have, which is the uh, backpacking adventure. There we go. And I think from, if you can actually see, they're pointing to different parts of the world because all of them are supposed to be from like different parts of the world. And assumably, if they had made more dolls, they would have been more dolls from different parts, which is fun and interesting. I'm gonna look on the box. So keep looking at Nini for a second. So Skylar, I told you, is the snowboarder, and she is from I have no clue where it's pointing. Maybe France. And then Nakia is from New York City, and she's the basketball player. And then we have Claire, who is, I think, from Mexico, maybe? Oh, it's something islands. I don't know how to say that, but it's around Mexico. And then Gabby is from Brazil. She's the soccer player. Nini is from Africa. And then Corey is from Australia. Now, mind you, I don't know if they're just supposed to be visiting because this is Nini and she does not look. I feel like she's just supposed to be visiting. She's like in Africa backpacking adventure. I don't get Real Girls being anti Barbie is that on the website for Get Real Girls, they had a little thing about the dolls, how most dolls on the market have like feet molded into high heels versus these dolls can stand on their own. kind of a little hit towards Barbie and Bratz, who would have been out at this time. Again, these dolls I think were released in 2001, and I saw some like other information telling me otherwise, but for the most part, I believe they were released sometime around 2001 and didn't have more than one wave. Those are the dolls that I can really only find, are the ones that I was talking about there. The other two that I have seen are slim box. So if you didn't see the box that I was just holding up, it comes with a lot of accessories. She comes with a lot of accessories, like so, like a sleeping bag, a little necklace for you. Some of them have, oh, they're not fallen, they're like not placed. She has a little African maybe guide, I don't know. But she comes with accessories versus the other boxes. There were two of them, and they were just a slim box, and I think it was like a basic outfit that they were wearing. And one was the scuba girl, whoever the scuba girl is. I could bring it back up, but she was like a swimming one, and then the other one I don't remember, but I'll pop up a photo of her so that you can see some of the dolls in the line. I think these dolls are fascinating. I think they're very interesting. Like I said, very short-lived. Like, they were not successful. I think doll lines, when they market on like being not Barbie, I think that that is like a poor decision personally. Like I said, I'm trying to think of other doll lines that have been successful who specifically like marketed on not being Barbie. The only one that I can think of is like, I'm thinking of like Bratz, but I'm not sure if that was after Barbie, if they started like hitting that little like annoyance towards Barbie. Okay, like I said, I have Nini, but I also have, is Claire the scuba girl? My bad. But I have the scuba girl. And like I said, they talked about not having like high heeled feet. They have flat feet and they can stand on their own, which I was able to get some of them to balance. But they also say that they have softer looks. Some of their faces look a little creepy. Like, I hate to be mean here, but she's got such like an interesting like smirk. But this is the scuba one, and the dolls also have a little like magnetic piece, I think, to hold some of the pieces once I unbox Nini in a different video. Stay tuned for that if you're interested. I'm going to test out to see like what they can hold, but they do have this little magnetic circle piece. But then I also have this one. This is the one that somebody has dressed. I don't know who all the pieces go to. I'm pretty sure the elbow and knee pads are G.I. Joe. The shoes are one of the like skating Kens, roller skating Kens. The socks, I believe, are from two separate cheer Barbies. So somebody used pieces from everything, but I wanted to take a look at their body to like see how articulated it is, because if I'm not mistaken, they're also quite modest. Like they're covered. They're not nude dolls underneath. So here is my Get Real Girls doll. Like I said, she is modest. She's covering her body. She has a white undergarments and a white bra. I want to remind you that these dolls are from 2001 is when I could find the date. And they have decent amount of articulation. I'm trying to think of like my dolls that I had growing up. Like, I saw the double joint and I thought that there's no way that she was from 2001. I don't know when. I know BJD has been doing some of like the ball jointed and like lots of articulation, but like the double joint, I don't know. I just kind of assumed that bigger companies created that, and like, I don't know. I just always assumed, to be that kind of person, that Barbie created it. I'm trying to think of any other dolls. I guess Liv, I don't know, Liv came out in 2010, right? I could be wrong. Liv uses the double joint. I'm trying to think of other dolls, but I can really only think of Barbie, and then present day, like Illy Forever, Rainbow High. I don't know a lot about dolls and their articulation, but I don't know. 2001 is crazy to me, especially for a doll line that relatively could not find that they made any other dolls. If you know, let me know. But I do think that this doll has a bit better of a face than the other one. I like her open teeth smile. Like I said, she's wearing I'm gonna call it a white sports bra. It does have GR on it for Get Real. And then she has a decent amount of articulation. Like I said, she can move at the head, she can tilt, and then also turn her head. It is a little stiff. She has arm and elbow. I feel like she doesn't have a full 90, but maybe it's barely a full 90. And then she can move her wrist. Again, it's a bit stiff, but she can move her wrist. She also has chest articulation, and it's pretty good chest articulation. She can move at the leg. That's a lot of articulation. Knee, and then she can move at the foot, which is so interesting. Again, I feel like these dolls were supposed to be more of like action figure-esque bodies, so a decent amount of articulation, so I understand why they did the articulation. I just think it's crazy that they have so much. And this one also has that magnet in her hand. Again, I haven't tested the magnet out with any of the items, but very fascinating. Here she is from the back. And I just want to say, I don't see a crazy difference from Barbie. I know that she's supposed to have less of like a chest, but if I'm not mistaken, Barbie in like 2001 was going through their rebrand. Like, where Barbie's supposed to be less modest. Give me a quick second to actually go get my childhood doll. So I'm going to show a bit of doll nudity. Technically, it wasn't doll nudity for this doll because she's wearing undergarments and a sports bra, but I'm bringing out my childhood doll, so don't judge her, okay? She's been through a lot. So this is the 1999 body type. I don't know what year this doll was released, but 1999, so they've been releasing it since around this time that this doll would have been released. I think she's probably like maybe no later than 2008, but I could be wrong. If it helps, it's alive in 2004. So definitely like I'm just looking at like thinness wise. Like, that's always what people go off of, and I feel like they roughly have very similar body shapes. The only difference would be obviously her chest. But in my doll's defense, this doll is clearly wearing a sports bra, and that hides a lot. Anyways, or holds them in better. I just wanted to say that I often find it crazy when like parents get mad about dolls. They always are like, Barbie's got big boobs, and it's like, people with big boobs do actually exist. She is wearing a sports bra. I do need to point that out. Like, yes, they made her have thighs, and like Barbie typically doesn't get thighs unless she's the curvy Barbie, but she's still quite thin, and I would even say she's roughly the like thinness of Barbie. Um, but I do, like I said, I do like this concept. I like that they're action dolls. I like that they're sports themed. I think they're very fascinating and interesting. And I definitely want to get the rest of the dolls at some point in my life. Maybe I will find them better. I like dolls that kind of branch out from Barbie, so I'm not hating on this doll. But I did want to take a little bit of time to talk about the Get Real Girls doll line and them being anti-Barbie. Anyways, I'm Actab. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have ever heard of this doll line. If you have any of these dolls, let me know any other dolls that you were excited about. But yeah, that's all for the video. Bye!